Hello? I think this should be the start. Let me make sure things are working in terms of technical things. Alright, hello? I think this should be the start. Let me make sure things are working in terms of technical. I'm going to do a quick Instagram pub and then we'll get started. Oh yeah, also, I'm going to do a quick, if you haven't noticed, there's a little questions box where it asks for things you want me to make. So go ahead and throw your ideas in there. Or if you want in the main chat, and then people can see it. Oh yeah, also, I'm going to do a quick, if you haven't noticed, there's a little questions box where it asks for things you want me to make. So go ahead and throw your ideas in there. Or if you want in the main chat, and then people can see it. Oh yeah, also, I'm going to do a quick, if you haven't noticed, there's a little questions box where it asks things you want me to make. So go ahead and throw your ideas in there. Or if you want in the main chat, and then people can see it. Oh yeah, also, if you haven't noticed, there's a little questions box where it asks things you want me to make. So go ahead and throw your ideas in there. Or if you want in the main chat, and then people can see it. Oh yeah, also, if you haven't noticed, there's a little questions box where it asks things you want me to make. So go ahead and throw your ideas in there. Or if you want in the main chat, and then people can see it. All right, awesome. Let's go ahead and get started. Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be making some things with 2025 using this new tool, and it's called ExplOri. So I'm going to give you guys a quick walkthrough of how this works, maybe in a little bit more detail than the previous video. And while I do that, go ahead and throw some ideas into the chat for things you want to see.
Guys, thanks
made.
for tuning in.
Today I'm going to be making some
things with 2025
So,
using this new tool.
ExplOri stands
called
for
ExplOri.
explore
So I'm
and
gonna
origami. So
give
we're
you
going
guys a
to
quick,
explore kind of
walkthrough
the search
how this
space
works,
of
maybe in a little bit more
2025
detail
degree
than the
origami
previous video.
design.
And
You can access it from any device that has internet, including mobile devices, which is fun. So 225.designorigami.net. It's also in the description of this live stream and in the chat.
Explore
The search space. Yeah. Okay. So if you click here on the thing, this is the main application page. So there's a light mode and dark mode. There's support for a few different languages if you don't speak English.
It's also in the description of this live stream and in the chat.
So basically, what this will do is, on this side, you're going to sketch out a tree stick figure.
This is the main application page.
So if you see a red dot, that means you're going to be drawing from that. So wherever I click, it'll create a new flap around from the red dot is. If I want to make like a real stick figure, then you can move the selected node.
On this side, you're going to sketch out a tree stick
make your tree.
So
So hopefully this is pretty intuitive. If you've ever designed a tree maker, this should feel the same. One thing that's very important to note is that there are no exact lengths. So instead of you typing in a number, you're just going to drag the thing around, and a short flap will have a visually small length, and a long flap will have a visually long length.
Hopefully this is pretty intuitive.
Zoom, pan, you can undo things.
One thing that's very important to note
You can
is that
delete
there are
specific
no
nodes.
exact lengths. So instead of
On
you
mobile,
typing in a number,
you'll use the eraser
just
key
going to
here.
drag the thing around, and
On your
a short
desktop,
flap
you can just press
will have
backspace.
a visually small
Reset the
and a
whole
long
tree.
flap.
There's a little thing here for a random tree. If you're not feeling creative, you just want to try it out, you can do that. You can also download and upload your tree. So in case you want to come back to it with the exact same tree that you searched for before, you can do that. You can
There's a little thing
upload
here for a
the
random
exact same
tree.
thing.
If you're not feeling creative,
and
you
it'll
just
come
want
back.
to try it out, you can do that.
Okay.
You can also
Once you have a tree configured, you're going to press the run button. and it will go ahead and generate some crease patterns for you. Now, despite the fact that there's a little AI or a little robot guy, there was no AI involved. There's no data center. In fact, everything that you're doing is running on this Raspberry Pi, so no gigabyte data center going on. Don't worry about the AI use. The fact that there's a little AI. Okay, and so within a few seconds, you'll get a few crease patterns. Let's see. Everything that you're doing is running on this Raspberry Pi, so no gigabyte data center going on. Thank you for noticing about the echo. Is that hopefully that's fixed now? Okay, how's that? I think this should be a little bit better, right? Alright, sorry about that. Okay, let me just do a quick rerun of what I said briefly in case, just so I can trim the video later. Yeah, so basically, this is the ExplOri page. You can access it from any device, including mobile devices at 225.designorigami.net. On this side here, you're going to go ahead and sketch a tree, and it will create a new node from wherever your selected node is, which is the big red one. You can delete nodes using the eraser button if you're on mobile, if you don't have a keyboard. But if you do have a keyboard, you can just press backspace. Okay, and one thing that's super important to note is that unlike TreeMaker or Box Splitting Studio, the length of the flap is not an exact number. So a flap that's visually small is going to be one that's actually small, and one that's visually long is going to be one that's actually long. And so we just want to sketch out, whatever our stick figure looks like. You can upload and download trees, so you can get the exact same tree multiple times. Undo button. There's a random tree button if you're feeling uncreative and you just want to try out some random stuff. Okay, then next thing you're going to do is you're going to tell the ExplOri what kind of search you want to do. So you want to tell it how many crease patterns you want to pick. So the more you have, the more options you get, but the more you ask for, the longer it will take. There's symmetry modes. So if you want diagonal symmetry or book symmetry or asymmetric design, so whichever ones you're okay with, you can toggle that. So most of the time, you're probably not going to want asymmetric. Most of the time, diagonal symmetry is probably going to be your best bet, but sometimes you want book. Okay, so let's do a diagonal symmetry. And then, like I said earlier, despite the little robot character, oh, jeez, thank you. Okay, that's my bad, guys. This is my first time streaming, or the first time in a long time with the new setup. I'm not quite sure how much got cut out, but let me rewind a little bit. What I was saying. So, yeah, so down here you have your symmetry modes. You tell the system how many crease patterns you want to look at. The more you ask for, the longer it'll take, but you also have more options. If you want diagonal, book, or asymmetric designs, you can pick which ones you want. When you run the query, the little robot guy shows up. Again, there's no AI. This is not an AI model. This is the math I'll get into later, but this is like a pure, conventional algorithm. Then you can display, so by default, it'll show you the crease patterns. But if you'd rather look at it and judge by the tree or the packing, you can also do that. When you click on it, you can see more details. So again, same thing, tree, crease pattern, packing, tree, folded form. And you can, the folded form is not too useful, but technically it's part of the pipeline, so it's there. And you can look through all your options really quickly like this. Okay. Now let's say I really like this crease pattern. So what I'm going to do is I will open it in the viewer, and it will show the same thing, but with even more details. Might take a sec. Okay, so the main thing that you'll need is the references. So if I just give you this crease pattern, most people would not know where to start. Even myself, looking at it, to be honest, I would have to do a little bit of math to figure out how to start folding this. But what is nice is, so this is shout out to my guy Travis Nolan. So basically it will, for any point, let's say I want to start with this point, then they'll give me the sequence of folding steps that I need to construct this point of the crease pattern. So this gives me a really easy place to start. Once you have this, you can basically fold the crease pattern pretty easily, and I'll show you that in a sec. After we finish this tour, I'll go ahead and make some stuff. For people who are new to the stream, there should be a little questions box, and you can suggest things that you want. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like some people are already filling that out, so that's great. Okay. If you keep, so there's even more. So another cool feature is this packing and tree relation tool. So for experienced designers, you probably this is already second nature, but if not, this kind of tells you what parts of the crease pattern correspond to what parts of the tree. So for example, I see that I have got this big river here, and that corresponds to this big river. This triplet of flaps, or whatever you want to call this, corresponds to these three flaps down here, and you can click on the tree and I'll show you the packing, or vice versa. So that's fun. All right. And then these stuff down here, these are not going to be super useful to you as a folder, but just for debugging, just so you kind of know how the system made it. Again, I'll talk about the math at another time, but that's basically the tools that are available to you. This URL is also permanent. So let's see. Yeah, this URL is permanent. So if you share this link, someone else will be able to open it up, new tab, open it and look, and they will see the same thing that you saw. That's the easy way, but you can also download the crease pattern for yourself. Okay, a few more advanced features I want to show you. So there's a search for neighbors button. So let's say you really like this tree and you like it more than your original tree. So you can actually click search for neighbors and it will load that tree into here. And so then you can look for even more similar trees that are like this one. And that way you can kind of guide the search to gradually get better towards what you want. Another thing that's a recently added new feature is this advanced settings button. So so when it's querying from a database, it actually is querying from 12 different databases, and you can pick which ones you want. So it's okay if you don't quite understand what this means, but basically the larger numbers are going to be more complex. So for example, if I look from the 5 database, let's see, it should be more complex if it comes up in a sec. Okay, while we're looking, D stands for diagonal symmetry, B stands for book symmetry, N stands for no symmetry. And so let's say if you want only simple designs, you would go something like this. So the N equals 5 is going to be a little bit more complex. Yeah, like this. Okay, so that's a cool feature. If you guys have any other questions about how the software works, feel free to ask in the chat, and if I miss it, ask again. Let's see. Cool. Yeah, and so go ahead and give it a try. And if you have any other questions, I'll happy to answer it. For now, I think it's time we can go ahead and start folding something, or designing and then folding something. So what do I see in the chat? Okay, someone says dinosaur. Okay, let's do this. So let's see. Can you all see that? Okay, so I don't know, what kind of dinosaur do you guys want to make? I'm just going to assume like a T-Rex or something. So here's my long legs. And by the way, if you make these like segmented joints, it doesn't care. So this is essentially one long flap. Someone is asking if the length of the lines matter. So yes, the length of the lines are the length of the flap you're asking for. And it's meant to be a quick sketch, like you just kind of eyeball it, unlike other softwares where you have to fully define it. So here, for example, I want my tail to be pretty long. Let me just look at it, what a T-Rex looks like real quick. Okay, so okay, yeah. So I don't know if my proportions are great. So the head is a little tricky. I mean, jaws are hard because it's hard to make flaps that are like on top of each other. Maybe but we should always try. So let me add my lower jaw and then my upper jaw. Okay, that looked like a T-Rex. We might have to tweak it anyways. I think diagonal symmetry would be good, but I'm okay with book symmetry. Let me constrain my results. You know what? Let's use everyone. I'll skip asymmetric for now. Okay, 8 seems like a lot. Well, okay. All right. While this runs, someone says, "Was this vibe coded?" So the math is pretty complicated. It's definitely more complicated than you can vibe code. Like you can't just be like solve origami and make no mistakes. Some of the front end was AI assisted. I mean, no one wants to be writing CSS from scratch. So yeah, it was a mix. But okay. Yeah, by the way, for those of you who are new to the stream, there's a little questions box. I'm not sure. Hopefully you can still access it. So you're going to put the request in there, otherwise I might miss them. Okay, let's take a look at these dinosaurs. So, okay, this is not too bad. Something like this one, you can kind of tell where it's going, right? You can tell that it had a long tail, it gave the long legs, and it didn't quite have enough room for a long head, but it did its best, and here are some arms. Let's see, these other results are not quite so good. Let's take a look at what this one's actually doing. Okay, so this one, we've got the long legs on the side, which makes sense. This does not seem like enough for a full head. And this flap, I mean, someone asked for Spinosaurus. We could do that, low-key. Okay, let's modify our tree. So one thing I'm realizing is I think the arms are pretty negligible. If we made an armless T-Rex, it would still be noticeable. I think we can do it with shaping. So I'm going to let me close all these. Okay, I'm gonna like make them really stubby, and chances are they're probably not gonna show up in the base this way. I'm also going to add just a little bit of mass here, and this is kind of like someone says Spinosaurus. Maybe we'll do a Spinosaurus. Actually, I don't think I want to do this. Yeah, something like this is probably good. And so now remember the solver is not necessarily going to place a flap here, but this kind of tells it that if you do have one, that's great. All right. Okay, let's see what it got. Okay, so actually this is the same one from last time, which is interesting. These guys are very similar. Let's take a look. How are these guys? Okay, I think they're all kind of doing similar things, and you can also tell that they're all kind of bird-basey, like, which maybe is a sign. Maybe we should just do a bird-base, to be honest. I think, like I mentioned, about the jaws are hard because, this is what is probably was trying to do the head here, but as you can tell, the flaps are going to end up side to side. So let's take a look at this guy. Oh, okay. This one is actually interesting. So this one, the jaws do end up lined up top and bottom. And also, it gives us something we can work with to get the head, or we get the arms, sorry. And we didn't ask for this, but it gave us these extra mass down here at the legs. So if we wanted to, we could make toes, which could be pretty important. So actually, I would say this guy might be a good option. Let's do a quick neighbor search, just to see what we got. But I think this might be the one. Okay. What else we got? Okay, not sure. Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's take a look. So, oh, we finally got a book symmetry. That's interesting. These guys. Okay, these are definitely getting a little more complicated. I'm not sure if we want any of these. This guy could be cool, but probably not for the T-Rex. Well, actually, yeah, we'll come back to. Yeah, this would be cool, except the tail is split, which might be good for a different design. But yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, so where ExplOri really specializes in is very quick, simple designs. So anything that takes this long, yeah, beware. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start folding this. So basically, this looks like a very important reference, basically, right? This point here. If I have here, I can get this midline. I can get this midline. I can start constructing everything. So this is probably going to be the reference I'm going to use. So what I'm going to do is let me switch to my overhead camera view, if it will. Okay, there it is. Let me get out a piece of paper, and you can fold. I'm not gonna fully go super slow. I might go kind of fast because I don't want to take too long. So it's not gonna be a real tutorial, but my goal for this and for the stream is so that you can get a sense of how this tool works, how you could use it to make your own designs, and the kind of designs you'd make from it. Okay. Let's move the camera down a little bit. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go and follow the steps that are shown here on the screen. So fold in half. This angle bisector. Okay. This guy. Okay, fold in half the other way. All right, now step 6. Step 6 is, oh wait, I missed step 4. Okay, now step 6 goes from here to there, and the point that it made is that point we're looking for. So I'm going to see how we've got this like big square down here. You can still see the screen, right? See, we've got this big square, so I'm going to go ahead and divide that off. Okay, so basically this is the big giant water bomb base that we have down in the middle, down here. And this basically, this will divide into, this is basically what's dividing up the head, tail, and legs. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to kind of make up a sequence. So this is kind of like a grafted water bomb base. If that means anything to you, that's basically what's going on. So here's my graft. Okay. Let's see. All right. What is next? Okay. I'm going to kind of do some angle bisectors. So kind of construct. See how this point's got a bunch of creases radiating out of it. All right. So I'm going to kind of. Yeah. So I hope this is not like too confusing. You know, if one of these models turns out like really nicely, maybe I'll make a tutorial. And if you want that, you can say in the chat. But again, my goal is just to kind of show you what it would look like when you were designing with ExplOri, rather than any of these particular models. Okay. Let me just extend these creases to the side. Okay. So this kind of gives us a little more structure. And then, low-key, this is a little bit more complicated than I would have come up with on my own, but maybe that's a good thing. So where this guy meets, we make, and make a piece like this. I wonder if I can make the crease pattern bigger. Oh, that's too big. Interesting. Okay, that'll do. All right. So I need some construction here. I don't know how else to do this. Yes. In the past, at origami conventions and club meetings and stuff, we would sometimes play a game where you have like 10 to 15 minutes to design an original thing. I think ExplOri is a good tool for that, but something like this is probably going to take you a little too long. This is probably a little too slow for that super high pressure, but I think this is, yeah. Okay, so I have a few new constructions up here. This is, I would say this is a little bit more difficult than usual, I would say. It's a little hard, sometimes it's hard to tell just by looking at the crease pattern how hard it will be. And I think this is one that's a little bit more difficult than I expected. But let me doable. Alright, we're getting there, guys. Slowly. Okay. Oh, one thing that's important to mention. So you might be wondering if the crease patterns are actually flat foldable. So these crease patterns, the hinges are of unknown mountain valley. And the reason is because one, because it's hard to compute, and two is that most of the time when you fold it, depends on how you're going to shape it anyways. So instead of trying to guess a mountain valley assignment for the hinges, it just leaves them as gray. So these creases that are drawn in gray are actual creases. They are not auxiliary, but they are also of unknown mountain valley. So you will have to figure that out on your own. Okay, let me just Alright, we'll see if all this effort is worth it in a sec. Okay, so I finally got the base to be flat, and this is what the base is. This is where it's taking us, or almost. I mean, a few small differences, but if I scroll down to here, this is kind of what the folded form looks like. And so this looks nothing like a T-Rex, obviously, but the idea is you're going to shape it the rest of the way, which is what's about to happen. Okay, so let's go ahead and squash this. And yeah, so you see I've gotten this flap. This flap and this flap, this is kind of what the program said would be like a head and jaw. And we can see how well we can work with what we've got here. But we'll tinker with that in a sec. Also just looking around the base, I mean we've got these are what was supposed to be arms. I mean for a T-Rex is suitable. And down here is what was supposed to be toes. So as default, what we have are two big toes, which is not super great. So one classic trick that you should always do if you want more toes is you can sink it down. So I'm going to, let me bring the camera a little closer. Okay, yeah. And I'm going to be just rushing these, I guess. I think these are just examples to show you how this works. So let me sink these down. And now that I've sunk it, I can actually get 3 toes, which would be nice. Alright, while I do this, I'm going to take a quick look at the chat. Okay. Someone says, it would be awesome to save your designs and not just download them with the option to rename them like Google Translate, maybe even Google Drive. Okay, yeah, we can think about that. That would probably need you to like log in or something with the Google, which so far this is super lightweight. You don't need an account or anything, which is kind of the intention. But upload the photo of the model. I think this is quite. So someone says it would be nice to upload the photo of the full model by each designer, or link to prompt people to Instagram or Flickr. I'm not quite sure how this fits into the ExplOri interface. So ExplOri, I kind of think of like a glorified calculator. It's not much more than that. So social media, you can use those apps dedicated for that. Someone's asking for how to make proper trees. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Maybe you can elaborate. But hopefully more examples will help. Okay, and we've got some suggestions for things to fold. Okay, we'll get to that in a sec. Okay, let's finish our dinosaur. I'm gonna force myself to finish it in 5-10 minutes. So if I'm not done in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes, hold me accountable. So I'm going to. So basically, I made my toes just now. See that there's 3 toes. Okay, I'm going to do a sync like this, and that'll narrow down everything. Push the mass towards the front. Okay, then I'm just going to do some really basic shaping. So I'm going to, for the legs, I can do something like this. This will probably suffice. And obviously, I would come back and shape this better later on, but I'm kind of I don't feel like that right now, so, okay, tail. I like this kind of simple geometric look. This is probably fine. And now my paper is a little thick and also kind of small, so I can't really do too much shaping. But I'll just do a little bit of basic folds like this. And make sure to take advantage of our multiple toes. So spread the toes out. Okay, and as a classic lazy trick, I'm only going to do one side just so I can move on. Okay, but you can see that this could be a much nicer dinosaur if we had more time. Okay, now arms. What should I do? Maybe we can just leave it like that. To be honest, yeah, you can see the shadow. That kind of works like an arm a little bit. Okay, now let's do the head. This is the part that's the most concerning. So here's the lower jaw, and here's the upper jaw. Okay, this is actually okay. I think this is okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of very quick thinning out. I'm not really sure what I could do. I could probably do this better with more time, as I've said too many times. But again, this is my point here is that the tree that originally gave us, this tree looks nothing like a T-Rex. You see, so you really have to kind of know what you're looking for, and know how to make the most of whatever you're given with ExplOri. Again, it's not going to do any of the designing for you. All the designing happens by you as the human. it just gives you a little starting point. Okay, it has been 4 minutes since I said I'll be done in 5 minutes, so I'm almost good. Let me just do a little bit of shaping on the back leg. Okay. Alright. I don't know if this is not quite a great dinosaur, but as a 10-minute sketch, I think this is pretty good. There's definitely more things I can do here up ahead. There's paper, so I can make an eye if I wanted to, but I'm too lazy right now. The legs, I mean, we've got our 3 toes, which is cool. Big, thick thighs, fat belly, long tail. I think I would call this a successful sketch. I would come back and edit the dinosaur later. All right. Let me take a quick water break, and I'll answer some more questions in the meantime, but before we start the next one. Okay. So yes, someone was asking how to make good trees. So my advice is actually, the trees may be better than you think. You just have to make do with the trees that you get. Okay. All right, let's go back to here. Let's go ahead and design the next one. I'll probably do maybe like 3 or 4 in this session. Let's take a look. What other questions do we have? We got a crab, a wiener dog with a hat, caterpillar, fish, flowering plant. I think a flowering plant would be cool. After all, I am the plant psychologist. The suggestion here specifically was, let's see, petunia, or mandevilla. What is it? Okay, so like a 5-petal flower. I think that would be cool. Let's go ahead and do that. Don't really know how it'll turn out, but let's try. Okay, you all can see that. Okay, so some kind of 5-petal plant. Let's clear all this. All right, well, obviously we're gonna need 5 petals. And just for convenience, I'm going to kind of display them like this so that I can see that they're all the same length. Okay, then we need some sort of stem, probably. Let's say some kind of stem, some kind of maybe a couple leaves on the side, and we'll probably call that good. And this time, I actually think asymmetry is okay. Maybe I'll regret that. But let's take a look at what we got. Right. Someone says, how to get started into origami design. So this is a good place to start, obviously. I also have some YouTube videos that I made in the past. That'll get you more started on box pleating, which is a little more straightforward. But this is, if you want to do 20.5, this is one of the best ways to go. Okay. So these trees, you might say, oh, none of them are good. And by the way, when it says terrible, it doesn't actually mean terrible. Like, it could be okay. And when if it says good, basically it's trying to guess. And the guesses are always going to be kind of random. So sometimes one that's labeled terrible could actually be really good, and vice versa. Let's see. So, yeah, I think one thing that will be difficult is that for a flower, we kind of want all the petals to be the same. And here, even if you do, like this guy, for example, kind of has 5 flaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you look at it, like, okay, let me reset this. These guys are all coming from very different shapes. For example, this guy's got his own little like side branch. I think it's not impossible though. This one could work. Will it be fun to fold? Yeah, that's a different question. Let's see what else we got. Let's try with just the 5 and then a long stem. That might be better. Let's see if we got anything here. Okay, while we're waiting, so someone's asking, you can't tell by sight how each point on the tree maps to a section in the crease pattern. So actually, there is a tool just for that. So if you go to the view page, basically if you click on a tile and click open viewer, there's this little thing here where if you click on a section of the crease pattern, it'll tell you which part of the tree it becomes. So we don't really talk about points, we talk about it by edges. And so, for example, these two ones are going to correspond to these two big octagons, and their little cousin is going to be the one that's wedged between them. So maybe that helps. Okay, let's take a look. So this time we asked for only 5 in the stem. This is not too bad. This one is still having issues where one of the petals is the petals are a little different, which not too bad in shaping, but maybe we can do better. So I think what I'll do is I'll turn off asymmetry, and we'll try that again. Okay, this is quite simple. So again, for simple sketches, this is really where ExplOri shines. And so I honestly think this simple sketch is about as good as we're gonna get. So let's use this one. Gives us more time to fold since it's simpler. And this is exactly what I mean. So this is not a tree that you typically assign to be good for a flower, but let's go see if we can make it work. All right. And actually, if you want to fold along, you know what? I'll just paste this in here. I'll just paste this in the chat. If that works. Oh, nope. Can I not? Okay. So if you want to fold it yourself, that link is in there. Let's go ahead and switch to the folding view. What color? Let's see, the Mandevilla is kind of red or pinkish. Let's do what color should we use? Let's do a purple. Yes, this video will basically, after the live stream is done, it will become a YouTube video, basically. So it will be recorded. Okay, so back to here. Oops. Okay. Someone says, can you make the website tell the user what the crease pattern originally was? Not quite sure what you mean by that. Maybe you can elaborate. But one thing that I'll say is that the crease patterns that you will receive don't necessarily have a one-to-one correlation with the tree that you ask for. So sometimes people are like, well, I asked for like 4 legs, but I only got 3. Or they say, oh, I got 4 legs, but I can't tell which leg became what in the final output. And the answer is, unfortunately, it doesn't quite work like that. It's not quite like TreeMaker, where every flap that you ask for becomes a circle on the paper. Basically, what the algorithm is doing is it will look for closest matches, but it can't really tell you why it thinks that they're similar matches. In that sense, it might feel like you're talking to an AI, but I assure you, again, there's no data center or AI or water usage or anything like that. Another way you can kind of think about it is think about it like it's querying from a database, right? And so a database is like a bunch of books on a shelf, and every book has like a sticker, has a number label on it. And if you ask for book number 101, but if there is no book 101, it will just tell you, okay, well, book 100 labeled 102 or 103, these guys are your closest bet. But it will do all that without actually ever looking inside the book. So it won't be able to tell you why it thinks that books 101 and 102 are similar. But it will tell you that these are the ones that are similar. And kind of like we asked for, like, this is not exactly the 5-petal plant that we asked for, but 5 petals with, where one short and one extra 6, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I sort of mush the mass of these 2 short flaps into one, it's kind of like a 5th petal. And so that, in that case, that's what I think it was looking at. Okay. It is 7:55, so I'm going to aim to be done with this guy in 10 minutes or less. There's definitely a faster way to do this. I was being lazy. I think this is a fish base knot. So I'm just going to fold the fish base. Okay. Okay, and up here, I'm actually going to modify it a little bit. So instead of kind of doing like a fish base that kind of stretches these 2 apart and making 6 petals, since the original task was to make a 5-petal plant, I'm going to go ahead and do this instead. And this gives me the classic 5 flaps up here and the stem. Now, some of you might be saying, hey, this is not original at all. Like, you've probably seen this before, and you would be correct. You can kind of think about ExplOri as like a more fancier, like traditional base lookup. So sometimes it might give you the bird base, or it might give you a fish base, or something. And it's not telling you that it's not trying to say that's original, but it's trying to tell you, hey, you might want to consider using a bird base for this case. So that's what ExplOri is good at. It's going to give you, sometimes the bases will be new, but even if it's giving you a base that someone has already done before, is at least trying to realize that your current situation is applicable to that base. Okay, so I'm doing these sinks here to kind of thin out the flaps, and that'll make them easier to arrange into a circle. Okay. And let me sync this guy also. Alright, so 3 minutes have passed so far since I've said that I would be starting. Once again, for people who are joining the stream new, there's a little questions box where you can suggest things you want to make. I'm probably going to do maybe a couple more for this session. So if you want to see something in particular, go ahead and drop that in there. Okay, I'm going to spread squash this one so everything lies symmetrically. And that gives me these 5 flaps here. And one thing, I think what I might do is I'm noticing that these 2 flaps are longer. So ideally, I would like for all of the flaps to be originating out of this common point. So I guess the easiest way I can just go like this, and that's fine. But a slightly nicer way is I could kind of do it kind of like a frog base and kind of bring out this flap here. And I'm not like I'm gonna use this flap or something, but it at least brings the big flaps to come at a common hinge. Okay. Let me also, so now that I'm done with the crease pattern, one thing that's nice is it's nice to pull up the picture that you're folding from. Oops, we don't want to click that. What's a nice reference photo? Here we go, purple flower. Okay. So it's nice to have the reference photo on hand, so you kind of can, you know, look at what needs to be made. Okay. So I think it's time to start arranging the circle. Let me just do, okay. All right, you know what? I don't have a great way of doing this. I'm just going to kind of squash all of them. Let's bring the camera down. Oops. Yeah. Once again, I mentioned this before, but in case you missed it, like, these are not really tutorials. I mean, if you want a tutorial, that will be separately. I'll definitely come back and do this again much slower and cleaner. But for now, I just want to get something out there. And a lot of times, I think this is an important skill in origami and art in general, is to know when to be done, and know when is what is a quick sketch versus what needs to take the time to properly fold or draw or shape or whatever art you're doing. And in this context, I think I want to just do something quick. Okay, so that gave me my 5. So there's my star, kind of my 5-petaled thing. It's not quite as pretty as the flower, as the original flower, but it's hopefully recognizable as a flower. Well, maybe one thing that I'll do is I'll like curl the petals, maybe. And that will also enforce Gaussian curvature in the other direction, so it will not try to roll up as much. It also, maybe I'll like fold the tips. Yeah, actually that's a good idea. The petals need to be rounded and soft. So I'll fold these tips away. And if I were, I mean, maybe sinking would be better, but in no time. Okay. But yeah, okay, this if you show this to someone and ask what is this, I think most people say this is a flower. So I'm happy with this. And I'll do a very lightning fast stem shape. It would be nice to color change the stem. Actually, you know what? We have time. Let's do it. Let me just turn this in. So the inside is white. So let me just turn the inside. Let me just turn it inside out, just like that. And don't rip. Please don't rip. Again, this is messy because it's a quick sketch that we can revisit later if we like it. I've got a lot of layers here. I'm just going to brute force it. That feels really terrible. But on the bright side, our stem turned white. And so that, you know, visually changing the color tells the viewer that this is visually a different part of the subject. So this tells the viewer that the flower and the stem are meant to be distinct, and the color is a hint. Okay. Let me just kind of wrap this up into like a cylinder of some sort. Okay, here we go. All right, I forget who asked for the flower, but this is a flower. It's good, okay for a quick sketch. T-Rex flower. Let me just give you a quick show of the other things, some other things I've made using this app, ExplOri. So we've got like a stegosaurus. We got like a kangaroo. Here's a giraffe. This guy is interesting. This is a baby elephant that I made out of foil and painted. But this elephant also came from ExplOri, a very older version. But yes, okay. I think this is done for the flower, and I did finish indeed in under 10 minutes, which is cool. So go ahead and ask for new things. Go ahead and drop your things either in the chat or in the questions box. Okay, I'm going to, while I wait for new things to come in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple more things. So first thing I want to show you is that up here we've got the Discord page. So we have a little Discord server called for the ExplOri things, and so you can access this link from anywhere on the website. And if you ever have bugs or something's not working for you, you don't really understand, or if you make something really cool and you want to show it off, this is a great place to put it. Or also if you have like specific features you want to see added to the software, I'm actively adding new things to the software, so I do read all your suggestions. The other thing I want to show is if you really like ExplOri, ExplOri is free, and it is always free, no ads, no nothing. But if you really appreciate it, you can donate whatever you feel like to help support the more development, especially things like the internet hosting. Even though it's on my device, I still have to pay for the domain and stuff like that. So if you would like to help cover those costs, that button is here as well. All right, let me take a quick water break. All right, so we did an animal, we did a plant. Maybe we can do an asymmetry next time, but let's take a look. Okay, so I see we got beaver, chicken, caterpillar, ankylosaurus, lizard with a hat, fish, something with a hat. Hats are hard. Okay, in a while ago I made a bunch of Instagram reels where I folded the top comment and people kept asking for things with hats. Yeah, things with hats are pretty annoying, to be honest. Let's do the caterpillar, I think. I think the caterpillar gives us a good wide range of things that can be made with the software. Let's clear all this out. Okay, so the caterpillar, actually let's take a look. I assume you mean the animal and not the construction device. So if I asked you what a caterpillar looks like, you're probably not going to tell me a specific number of legs, but you probably will tell me that there are a bunch of legs. So if I don't get exactly like 11 or I don't know how many legs. If I don't get exactly that, it's okay. I just need enough legs that it feels like there's a lot. And do they have antenna? It looks like they don't. Maybe some do. Maybe, yeah, it looks like some of them do. Okay. These guys are fancy, and maybe we can make the little head bump with shaping. Okay, let's make this guy. So basically, let me close this. What our tree will look like is probably something like this. So I'm going to just make a bunch of segments here, and I'll just kind of make little flaps. That's probably good enough. 5? Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. You know what? Let's allow asymmetry. Let's allow all of them. Okay. Oh, let me select question. Okay, we are making a caterpillar now. Okay, let's take a look. So we put a very fishbony shaped tree, and these are not amazing results, to be honest. Not sure. Again, this thing is very much hit or miss. Sometimes it does not exist any base that looks like this, and you just kind of have to deal with it. Maybe if I make the legs a little longer, then it will notice. Maybe. And I'm also going to make the middle ones longer. That tends to help. That's just how paper works. Okay. We got, okay, so some people were asking for centipede or beaver, so go ahead and put those in the questions box so I won't miss them later on. Velociraptor, same thing. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, this is a little better. So you can tell this something like this guy is a little less branching, or actually a lot of them kind of are very, like, you can tell that they're very like linear, right? They're kind of blobby shaped, which is kind of what a caterpillar would be. And they're asymmetric, which is in this case I think okay. I think this could work. I think we might not get anything better than this. And to be honest, they all look the same to me. So I'm going to just blindly, let's go with this one. Why not? Okay. So I'm going to send, like before, I'm going to send this in the chat. Okay, so that link is there. If you want to fold it for yourself, let's go ahead and switch over to my desk view. And what color caterpillar? Let's make it. What color should we do? I like this color. Let's make him like kind of light blue. All right, let's see, where do we start? So this is a weird crease pattern, to be honest. But I think the reference that it just gave us just now is a pretty good starting point. So if I have this point, I get this whole vertical line. I think that's the same, right? Or we'll have to check. Yeah, this is the same vertical line. So that's a good place to start. All right, let's do it. So once again, this is not going to be a tutorial. This is just kind of like a speed run, so we can make as many as we can in this session. And again, the idea is kind of just to give you a sense of what it feels like to make things with ExplOri. And most of the time, the tree that you're going to get is not the tree that you're expecting, but it is going to be a tree that it works, which is cool. Okay. So here's that big vertical line along the side. We've got the horizontal counterpart. So basically there's going to be a little fish base down here, which I can get started on. Yeah, asymmetric crease patterns are kind of annoying. They kind of take a while. So there's no, every crease is different, you don't have these symmetric clones. Okay. Let's see. Alright, let's take a handful of questions. I am using this regular 15 centimeter. Stegosaurus, to be honest, Stegosaurus came from a really old version of this app, before I had the viewable link or display ID, so I don't actually have the ID. I can try to recreate it, but it might take me a sec. Okay. Okay, sorry, I should not be full. I need more pre-creases. Okay, so I'm slowly constructing up. Alright, what's next? Oh, I forgot to record what time I started. I'm going to try to finish this in... Okay, the asymmetric crease pattern is going to take a while. But I think 5 minutes is a reasonable speedrun time. Okay. I'm going to take some artistic license and do something different in the bottom right. Alright, we're good. Okay. So I'm kind of going one molecule at a time. And by molecule, I mean like a geometric construction, not like physical molecule. So I just did the water bomb base here. I have this kind of concave one. I have the rabbit ear. So now I'm going to work my way around. Now I'm going to do this top left molecule, this like a trapezoid thing. And okay, then we've got this like another concave one. Actually, let's look at the packing at this point. This might be more helpful. So this is kind of telling us where all the flaps are coming from, and some of them are going to be weird. Like this flap is a weird shape. We'll just make do. Okay. So yes, this is, so I'm not quite sure what you mean by, are you actually making it, but this is a caterpillar. And when the system is pulling from the database, it has no idea what anything is. All it knows are like, this is a crease pattern, and it's flat foldable, but beyond that, it could be anything. And that's really the magic of it. I mean, this base that we're using to make a caterpillar could be used into, who knows what else you can turn this base into. So that's kind of the fun of it. What are the questions? Is a hydra possible? Yeah, probably, yeah. And I mean, anything is possible if you're good at shaping. You might not get a tree with exactly the number of heads you want, but you can probably make something work. Make a cute dragon, Quetzalcoatlus, or Mosasaurus. Yeah, so you guys should put all these things in the question box. Otherwise I might miss them. But these are some good ideas for sure. And I'll probably only do like one or two more max after this, because my voice is low-key. My voice is getting tired. Talking and folding at the same time is kind of hard. Okay. Down here, oh, I forgot what's going on down here. Down here, some weird stuff happens. So, place, or another fish, rabbit ear. Okay. What happens here? Yeah, this is quite a mental workout, to be honest. It's fun. I think it's like solving a puzzle. Yeah, this is definitely very much a puzzle. Okay, is there a reference for? Oh, there is a reference. It's like this. Okay, this one, you know what? Just to start off, I'll do what the crease pattern told me to do, and then I'll change it myself later. Alright, this is roughly something. I mean, it gave me a base, and I'm not gonna complain. Like it's something, and it's definitely new. I've never folded this base before. Is it exactly what I want? Maybe not super easy to turn into a caterpillar, but I think it's doable. It's also, as I said, it's not symmetric, which is kind of strange. Low key, we can just call this a mountain scenery and be done. That would be pretty funny. I mean, hey, right? It's not too bad, right? We'll put a bookmark on that. Maybe this can be done as a scenic mountain. But I'm gonna stay true to my goal. We're gonna make a caterpillar. And maybe. Okay, how should we do this? I think what would be cool is, so let's first figure out, is it gonna go like this? Like this. Also, I'm gonna pull up the picture. So we need to make these stripes, and we can just do that with pleats. That's not a big deal. We need the legs to stick out. Okay. Oh, here's what I see. Oh, do you guys see it? Look at this. Okay. So see how this caterpillar has got like a bump on its head, right? So if I just do something like this, look at that. We naturally kind of already have that shape. Do you guys see the vision? So I definitely think this way is better. And all I have to do is kind of make these legs stick out like this. And they can stick out from the front or the back. This is kind of look like a comb, I guess you could call it. So this guy from the back, the same thing, just stick down. I'm just gonna make this little comb of spikes. And then, okay, we'll figure that out later. Let's do like a stretch here. Okay, the question is, can I get legs evenly spaced all throughout? So that one kind of was a jump. Can I do maybe I'll do a point split. So you always want to go back to your basics, right? Remember, read your origami design secrets, and once you learn them, you'll never forget them. So point splitting is a handy kit tool in the toolbox. So I've split that long flap into 2 shorter ones, and I'm going to just kind of wrangle them to stick out below the edge. Okay, let me bring the camera closer again. Okay. Yeah, so from the back side, it's a total mess. But that's okay, we only need it to be viewed from one side. Alright, press it down. Okay, what else do we need? I'm gonna skip this. This one is maybe probably too short to make a flap. Unless I do something like this. Yeah, it's a little too short, so I'm gonna just skip that guy. And okay, this guy is another leg. There's a little one in here. I think this guy will just have to be lost, and that's okay. And we'll save these long-ish 3 for some kind of head. Alright, now let me make a kind of a tube. Should I mount and fold it? Or it's cleaner. Okay, the front is cleaner, so let me do it like this. And actually, oh, this guy's nice. I can use this guy to make these front-facing cleaner pleats, so I have a free pleat there. Then that's one less I have to make manually, which by manually I mean something like this. It's kind of messy. Actually, if I curve it in, okay, do you guys see the vision? This is a little bit of a mess. That's okay for something like this, for this speed run. And make the back legs. Okay, now I have one more chance to save this model and make it not look like a crumpled mess, and that will be the head. So let's see what we have to work with. Okay, wait, this is low-key not too bad. Sorry if I was off camera. Also, I realized the color is not great with my mat, but okay. Yeah, it's low-key not too bad, right? It's definitely not something that you'd expect from the crease pattern that we got. So I'll go ahead. I want to emphasize that the head is bigger, so it's going to come up like that. I wonder if I can make eyes. Do caterpillars have eyes? Some of them do, right? Let's do a very cartoony look. So let me bring out a color change. Although I picked the wrong paper for that one. I'm going to wrap the paper around and something kind of like this. Ooh, how's that? Yeah, it's a caterpillar, right? It's cute. Okay, and then now he's kind of got 2 mandibles to eat with. Is that how caterpillar mouths look? I might be mistaking this for like other insects. Some entomologist is gonna flame me for here. I'm not sure. I think origami has a lot of bug nerds who know this stuff better than I do. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm lazy. I'm almost done. I'm almost out of time. I feel like this is about as good as we're gonna get for the caterpillar. I mean, it has an eye, has a bunch of legs, has a segmented body. I'd call this a win, you know? Okay, cool. That's probably good enough. Let me bring back the other 2. I'm gonna do one more. So I've seen a lot of suggestions in the chat for what one more you want. Take another drink of water. Okay, So for the last one, I want to see what kind of suggestions you have. Let me take a look through the chat and catch up. Let's see. Someone says they learned a lot from the origami design class. I'm very glad to hear. Someone says, is the Plantain Dragon easier than the Ancient Dragon? It's a great opportunity to flex. Thank you for asking. Here's the Plantain Dragon. It is not made from ExplOri, but it is 22.5. And it is, I think, easier and more enjoyable to fold than Ancient Dragon. But Ancient Dragon was definitely a milestone in the history of origami for sure. Giratina's Pokemon may be too complex for this short time frame. Scorpion, Snake. Okay, let's see what people said in here. Someone says Frog, Toad, Dragon, Scorpion, Caterpillar, Excavator. That could be fun. Yeah, you know what? I'm curious about Caterpillar Excavator. That could be interesting. Because, okay. Well, it's got one big Caterpillar, what is it, construction equipment? Maybe some of these other guys could be interesting. Definitely the Excavator is the most... Ooh, I like this one. It's got like it's like a crab claw almost. And we've got the front bulldozer. This would be quite a challenge, I think. Steamroller. I used to have a lot of these toys as a kid. What are the other ones that people were asking? Lizard with hat. Frog, Toad. Giant dragonfly. Ooh, dragonfly would be nice. We just did an insect though. So let's do design a dragon. Giratina. Let's take a look at Giratina. Ooh, that is maybe too many flaps for our short time frame. Maybe another time. Yeah. Anoma Claris. That's a... Oh, this could be fun. This would probably be something similar to the Caterpillar, where we're not going to make each individual flap, at least not for the sketch, and we'll just kind of lump a bunch of flaps together. Pokemon Caterpie. Oh, we could make a butterfly. That would be fun. Oh, you know what? Maybe we should make a butterfly, because we already have the flower and we have the caterpillar. I think that makes sense, right? Okay, let's see what kind of butterfly. Yeah, I think we can do something interesting here. Because one thing that people don't realize is that, ExplOri, your input is a stick figure, but the butterfly is very much not a stick figure. These wings have volume, or I guess they have surface, and so you have to be, that's something that's not intuitive on how to turn this into a tree, and how to turn a tree back into this. Okay, I think the butterfly is the best. Okay, did anyone say butterfly? Can someone say butterfly real quick? Or maybe can I say my own? Okay. All right. And again, this is our last one, and maybe I'll set a timer for myself after, but All right. So what does a butterfly look like? What are the essential features? So obviously, well, not obviously, but probably the essential features are just this. We just need these 4 big wings. And that's probably going to give you a water bomb base or a bird base or something. I mean, the peripheral features, okay, I think the abdomen is pretty important. We probably don't need a bunch of legs, to be honest. Antenna would be nice also. So let's try this as an initial tree and see what we get. And I'm going to turn off asymmetry. Book or diag is okay. So the legs are probably more complex than we need, unless we do like a side-facing one. I wonder, we haven't done a book symmetry, have we? We did 2 diagonals and 1 asymmetric. Let's do book and see what we get. I think book symmetry would be good because then you get 1 wing in each corner. Ooh, yeah, here we go. Low-key, I think this first option could be the one. Yeah, either of these would be good. I think, yeah. Do you guys see the correlation? I think this is the one. So you see how we've got these 4 flaps, and they're actually surprisingly like even. And then we have the long one that kind of stands by its own. And it happens to be down the middle, and it's like a center flap, so it's going to be thicker, which is what we want for the abdomen. So this is about as perfect as we can get, I think. So again, I want to reiterate, when you're working with ExplOri, you're not going to get what you expect. We did not get a tree that looks like this. You have to really know what you're looking for. And it said terrible, but this is actually very good. So you kind of have to take the assessment with a grain of salt. Here we go. Let's fold it. So I'm going to send the link in the chat. Someone is complaining about the fact that we don't have mouths and legs. Well, the thing is that you don't see the legs in the model. The legs will be like in this photo, in any of these photos, or maybe some of them. Like, do you see any legs in this photo? Not really, right? And so you can make an origami butterfly and not have legs because you won't be seen. I ask you the same thing, like, yeah, anyways. So again, you really have to figure out pick your battles, right? What is worth folding and what is worth just leaving to the imagination, which is pretty good actually. The imagination can do a lot of things. Okay. All right, I'm gonna fold the butterfly, and after that I'll get to all your questions. All right, this is the last one, so I'm gonna, what color do we want? What kind of butterflies? I saw a lot of, let's see, blue, orange. Orange seems to be a common butterfly color. Let's find a nice orange. Here's one. Yeah, shout out to this amazing stickers. Okay. What was I gonna say? Yeah. All right. Oh, timer. Let's do a timer. I think that would be fun. Can I put a timer on screen? Can I split screen? Oh, I can. Okay. Let's do a stopwatch. Oops, that's too much. Okay, that will be just going. Okay, so my goal is to finish this in under 10 minutes. All right, and since it's the last one, we'll have this timer to hold me accountable. Let's see. Okay, so that's that horizontal line that the reference told us. We've got a little bit more, so where that intersects the diagonal. I will just do it like this. I wonder if I can get some folding ASMR sounds. Let me angle my mic towards. Let me know what you guys think. Alright, so I've collapsed the base mostly as it said. I made a couple changes. But one thing that I have not seen actually is this inverted center flap, which is a pretty common occurrence when you're working with box pleating, but not so common with 2025. So this is the first time I've actually seen that. And it's kind of annoying, but there are ways to work around it. Yeah, and so this is definitely, like, I definitely have said this before, but once again, ExplOri is just their starting point, and the rest of it is you really have to know how to do it yourself. Okay, so this is interesting. If you see it from the top view, you can kind of tell where ExplOri was going. So this is basically, this is the tree that we asked for. Do you guys see how this tree is kind of like the tree that it predicted? Let's go down. Yeah. So it's kind of like this X shape with, or this five-sided like star. And some of the branches have like their little cousin flaps. That's kind of what's going on, like this guy, or this, I guess, is this, right? Okay, 8 minutes have elapsed. We're still doing okay. I think I'll aim for 15 minutes. Okay. Well, so yeah, basically, if I look at it if I hold it at this angle, you can see how the tree, it's very much what it predicted, kind of like this, right? Here's the solo one, and then the four wings. Let's pull up the picture. What picture do you like? Well, Wikipedia is a good choice. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think I'm gonna widen this, so I'm gonna undo that flap. So I'm gonna have these as wider flaps, and I think I will do some syncing. I don't want to be here forever, so I'm going to just only sync it once, but that should help a lot in thinning down these bottom flaps. Okay, one question is, do I want to be viewing the butterfly from this side or this side? I think I want to see it from this side. This side is a little weird. Well, actually, yeah, I think this is a safe bet. So this is the axis. And so axis is where all the flaps are lining up. So all the flaps line up. See how they're all like collinear along this plane? This plane, they're a little bit sticking out. So that'll be a little harder to work with. So what I'll do is I'm going to, alright guys, forgive me for what I'm about to do. There's definitely a better way to do this, but I'm in a hurry, so I'm just going to mush sync. Very advanced technique. I'm gonna mush. Oof, this feels not good. Hold on. Okay. You know what? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Something like this. So mush sync that abdomen down. And I don't know if the abdomens are like segmented. Maybe they are a little bit. But there we go. That's not too bad. See, that's not too bad. Okay. And that gives us a flat plane. So that's kind of like where the abdomen goes. And we covered up the color change. So that works. Oh, here we go. You guys seeing the vision? Okay, we're getting there, guys. Let's get rid of this. Something's tucked into here. I'm gonna just do something like that, and then we'll work it out. Okay, we are approaching the time limit. I think I will buy myself a little more time. Okay, low key, it's starting to look more like this, where this, do you guys see the vision? Like this, you don't want to fight the paper, just work with it. And so the paper is saying that this, like, you see how this looks more like the top wing. If only the abdomen were on the other side, you know what I mean? So I wonder if we can find a butterfly that looks more like, oh, I have an idea. You see, we can do one of these guys, where the bottom wing has like a thing that sticks out. I don't know what that's called, that feature's called. Oh, thank you, Omri. Yes, I will be at New York. I will see you guys on the East Coast soon. Thank you for the support. Okay, let me do a quick sync here. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but someone from Korea. Thank you so much. Oh, not sure if that was meant to be double. Okay, that took a while, but basically I sunk it down a little bit, and that makes it, just gives me a little bit more easier to work with. So the color change is maybe not ideal. Actually, maybe let me break so I'm going to do something that's illegal in 2025, and I'm going to make a 11.25 angle like this. I know, it's shocking, right? But what that will allow me to do is it allows me to kind of spread out the wing a little bit more. Okay, I'll come back to this in a sec. Yeah, in the context of this very rushed, hurry design, this is totally fine. Okay, low-key, I think if I can make the wing entirely white, that'll be chill. I just don't want to have, or you know, obviously some butterflies have like spots and stripes and stuff, but Oh, my light died. It's okay. Okay, let me sort of figure out how I want to get a sense for how I'm going to do the top wing before I get too deep in the bottom wing. Oh, okay, so again, if we're going with the white wing theme, something like this is not too bad. I just want to show the color, and I will use the, even though I can't get a great shape with this short flap, I will use the color as a visual cue to the viewer what the shape is supposed to be. So what that means is, actually, this is not terrible, I think. Could be better. Someone's asking about a plan to upload a crease pattern or diagrams. So, no plans yet. I mean, I don't even know how this is gonna, like, you're asking for the crease pattern before it's even done, before the model itself is even done. If it turns out very nicely, which maybe it won't, then I will, maybe. We'll have to see. Okay. This is a little bit too short for my liking. Let's rewind. Let's rewind. Okay, start back from here. And try to find, oh, there we go. Okay, I just gave myself a little bit more flap length. Stretch this out, another mush. Yeah, at this point you can tell I'm getting more desperate and mushing things a lot more. But I think the model is getting there, so it's okay. And we even got we got ourselves antennas. That was totally unintentional. Okay, let's do a little bit of shaping in the bottom wing. So I'm going to do all mountain folds away because otherwise that will mess up the white side. So okay, and there we go. See, so that looks already so much better, and that will be the little spike that you see on the where this is called. Okay. All right. All right, let's open up this side. So again, round them off. And the left side is always harder because, yeah. Is swallowtail? Yeah, I don't know my butterfly names. I guess swallowtail is the name for this one. Someone's asking about the flat foldability issue. Maybe you can elaborate what you're talking about. If you mean the fact that ExplOri does not assign mountain valley, it's actually not necessary. And you can tell from all the crease patterns I folded today that with the crease patterns that it gave me were just fine. So I'm not quite sure what you're talking about or why it's such a big issue to you. So there's the bottom wings. I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Now the top wings is the challenge like before, but I think we got it. I'm wondering if I can maybe do a big outside reverse fold. And maybe that will... So that gets the white color. It doesn't quite get the width that I want. But actually, well, wait a sec, hold on. Can I do something like this? This does get the inverted triangle shape. So this is maybe okay. If I just need to remove this negative space here. You know what? I think this is the best we're going to get. We're on the time crunch. This has already taken longer than it was supposed to. So I'm going to hurry up. And if I had more time, I would sync this properly. But for now, I'm just going to do a mush sync to thin this out. Yeah. So you might be talking about, so I know there are known bugs. The software is still not perfect, and I'm still working on it. So there are a few crease patterns floating around the database that are like actually degenerate, as in like they are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And that is something I'm aware of and will fix at some point. But I think for now, I don't think it's a big deal. Like if you see a crease pattern that shouldn't be there, that is definitely not drawn correctly, like just move on to the next one. It does not need to be a perfect 100% accurate software. It just needs, as long as it's helpful, which is the main goal. Okay, I'm gonna open this up a little more. There we go. We're getting there a little bit. Again, because of the color change, I don't need the shape to match exactly, as long as the color silhouette is okay. Okay, I think this is pretty good for the wings. Let me make the back wings a little bit smaller so that the front wings stand out more. I'm going to narrow the abdomen, round this thing out. Okay. All right. Then let's see if I can cover up this mush a little bit. Well, it might be beyond repair, to be honest. But as a first draft, I'm actually happy with this, I think. Let me see what else I can do. Let me try pulling this tighter. Okay, I'm sort of giving up on antenna. Or I think it's possible, but actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just do maybe I'll just do something really quick like this. And it's kind of not amazing, but yeah, the antennae are definitely a peripheral feature, so if they don't look perfect, it's okay. I'm going to do a little bit of color change. Just at this point, it's just a 2D color change, to be honest. This is not, the shape is pretty bad. But since I got two white lines in kind of like a Y shape, I think that's recognizable as a butterfly. And I have really mangled this thing. But okay, I'm looking at this and I think this might be about as good as we're gonna get. Whew, that was a speed run, guys. So I think I'm ready to call it. This has been about 2-hour stream, so this took me longer than I expected, but that's okay. Let me close this guy, go back here. Alright guys, so this is the end of the stream. To recap, we folded a T-Rex from diagonal symmetry. We folded the flower, also from diagonal symmetry, and this one has a color change, 5-degree symmetry. We made a caterpillar, which is asymmetric, and then finally we made a color change butterfly, and this was book symmetry. And we kind of tell the story where we can make a scene here, the caterpillar turns into a butterfly who goes to the flower, and then T-Rex also exists. So I will post the links to these guys in the description if you want to fold these crease patterns yourself. Remember that the view links here are permanent, so I will send those in the description. I don't quite have enough time to answer all your questions in the chat, but if you do have questions that are not answered, remember that you can join the Discord server here. I'm accessible there. You can also just leave a comment after the live stream is done. It'll become a video and you can leave a comment there. I think that's mostly all I have to say. And so the last thing I just want to reiterate is that the designs may not be what you expect. The way ExplOri works is that you get a tree, you get a crease pattern that does not really look like the tree that you asked for. But if you stop and you look at it a little bit closer and you actually fold it, you will probably find that it is possible to actually turn it into the thing that you asked for with a little bit of shaping and a little bit of art. So I think ExplOri is a really, it's on the rise. It's a tool that has a lot of potential to make 22.5 design easier, and I hope you would agree. So go ahead and give it a shot, and let me know what you think in comments or in the Discord server. And yeah, thanks for ideas and thanks for watching, and